MSNBC may be ready to circle back away from Psaki and right on over to Rachel Maddow. They have to do something somehow to save their ratings. It's catastrophically bad, dropping below 1 million viewers in total throughout all of primetime on a Thursday when they should be winning bigly. Today we'll tell you what MSNBC is likely to do, and CNN, well, they're already in the garbage can.
I never saw that person, not a single time, and I was in the Oval Office every day.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and what a happy hump day it must be. We've got Mexican Iron Man joining us to talk about MSNBC. One of those two things we very much like, and the other, well, is a struggle bus indeed. Mike, welcome back to the channel, sir.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Happy to have you folks. As we get ready to get started, click the like button and we'll dive straight in. You saw it in the intro. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Here is Psaki circling back and saying now that she had no knowledge of President Joe Biden's decline. She did not know a single thing. And this is going to bring us into how bad the ratings are for her now that Rachel Maddow has left MSNBC. To say that it has now reached catastrophic levels would be an understatement, but here is what has caused the credibility crisis. Fox News is relaying this, but it's from Semafor Media. Here we go.
I've seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time, and I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Cover-up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well, I understand, but I still think it's like cover-up is often like a crime, right? People use that term as they relate to Watergate or the covering up of not sharing public information about a war.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think it's
You know, somebody probably shouldn't tell her that Jake Tapper is now saying that this is worse than Watergate, the stuff that's coming out. Mike, real quick before I get you in on this, I want to preview this for the folks out there. AdWeek. This is where we're going, ladies and gentlemen. You can read the headline. We're going to break it down. We're going to show you the numbers in just a minute. MSNBC finishes below 1 million total viewers in primetime. It says TOWL, but we'll forgive them. They must put out a lot of content. They just forget the T. But it's even worse when we get in the demo. We're going to break it all down for you. We'll show you the catastrophic collapse of MSNBC and CNN. But before we do, Mike, you just saw Psaki desperately trying to say, I didn't see it. He just, out of the clear blue sky, that man lost his sensibilities. His cognitive abilities dropped off a cliff all of a sudden. Mike, this is where people are no longer believing her, even if they're on the left, even if they're on the right. What say you? Why is it that MSNBC selected the literal worst human being possible for credibility right now?
Well, I think the reality is that, the real star of the network is your Rachel Maddow. They're not going to put her out there. And of course, Jen here has to say something because she literally was there. I mean, literally there.
Well, as opposed to Biden, who may not have been there. We're not sure about that right now.
It's not only has she been there, but she knows everybody that was there the whole time. And so if anyone has good, reliable contacts, it's her. And she has to say something, I would think. And I would frankly think that if they're going to throw someone under the bus, it might as well be her. And it kind of has to be her. And she has to get out in front of this thing and at least get the message out like, well, hey, I don't know what these people are talking about because I never saw any of this. When in reality, come on, get out of here with that.
Well, if their plan had worked, Mike, she'd be fine right now because no one would have been allowed to see behind the curtain like the Wizard in Oz, right? But because the plan didn't work, now the people on the left blame her. The people on the left blame the people who are in charge of, taking charge of weekend at Bernie's at the White House. So now it's not just the right that looks at her and says, you can't tell the truth even if you're forced to. It's the people on the left. It's the viewers of MSNBC who don't trust her either.
Yes, sir. 100%. And I think the ratings indicate that because the ratings are just horrific from what I've seen here and there. I mean, no one's watching this stuff. And it's interesting because I think that I'm a perfect case study for this because what your viewers may or may not know is that, well, I used to watch MSNBC all the time. In fact, through 2020, MSNBC was my ¡1 preferred network for news.
No, Mike, you were a lefty. You were out there.
I was. I don't know if we've ever had this conversation on your channel, but I was so far out there, Pro, that makes AOC look like a hardcore MAGA conservative. I was out there, and if of all the networks, forget Fox and CNN, I always thought was too boring. MSNBC was how I started my day, had it on throughout the day, and was how I ended my day. Now, the odds of me from 2020 to today, 5 years later, watching MSNBC, those days are gone. And my last days on MSNBC were in 2021. So I am probably a good profile of someone that they lost. And I know that they've lost more.
That's right. And folks, we're not political here. We're happy that Mike has seen the light and moved away from being on the fringes, because I believe that MSNBC is on the fringe. And Mike, you're welcome anytime in the Adult Swim that is the mainstream middle, the sensible center, and even the conservative side of things, because the left has left most people behind. And here's what the ramifications are for that.
Okay.
When MSNBC and CNN lurch to the left, folks, this is by, we'll give the author credit, Mark Mochiro out of AdWeek. Let's break this down. MSNBC and CNN failed to break 1 million. This is the demo, okay? We're going to come back to the demo. So hold on for a second, folks. Take a look at these numbers. These are measured by 1,000. So you can multiply by 1,000. So you can see that Will Kane on Fox News Channel had almost 2 million viewers. Will Kane. Now, I don't know anybody who's like a major Will Kane fan, although Will Kane, if you're listening, I will be your fan for you, okay? The 5 pulled 3.6. Brett Baer pulled 2.7 million. Go over to MSNBC, though, and it's no better for CNN, but MSNBC, post Rachel Maddow, not a single person. Wallace had 867,000. Wallace had 976,000. Melber, 860,000. Weeknight had 707,000. Hayes had 862. Psaki had 953,000. CNN, by the way, didn't even come close. So CNN's even worse off than MSNBC. This is total viewers. If we go to the demo right now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. Maybe the viewers of MSNBC average like 87 years old, because I don't see how it's possible to have that many viewers, and it's not that many, and have this few inside the demo. The demo refers to the people who are 25 to 54. They're the ones who matter so much because they buy the products in the advertisements. And if we look at this, Psaki had 55,000 people. That is terrible. That is not sustainable. 55,000 people on a Thursday, Mike.
Are you telling me that for all the money they spent on this show and her contract, they had 50? Okay, now, as we know, Mexican Iron Man is not a YouTuber, and I'm certainly no industry expert when it comes to ratings and ad cards. But correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of your videos have a heck of a lot more views than that, let alone other YouTubers that have bigger channels.
I would never say this, Mike. I would never call that out. But yes, we do regularly beat Jen Psaki in the demo.
You don't have to say it. You don't have to brag. You can be humble. I'm just asking the question, right?
We don't have the staff either, Mike. I mean, I know that you are a tremendous friend of the channel, but we don't have the staff that Psaki surely has. That's why this is completely unsustainable. There's no way that they can continue to have these kinds of numbers.
How do you justify being on the air at all?
And how, Mike? How must it hurt them to go from being one of the most important persons in the world, the press secretary who fields all the questions, who controls the flow of the news narratives of the day, and then when you go away from the White House, you're supposed to have all this prestige, this pedigree, everybody is supposed to be at your beck and call, and you can't get 50,000 people hardly to tune in the demo, the people who are in that age range. You're essentially an assisted living show at this point. Jen Psaki is competing with Little House on the Prairie for liberals and lefties. Here's the big news too. Out of Axios, Mike, Sarah Fisher, the author here, says Fox News is projecting $500 million in non-cable TV revenue for 2025. We're not going to dive into this. I just want to say that what's happening here is that the big money is moving away from cable news. So even the cable news channels are going digital. They recognize that the end is nigh. Fox News is doing fine. They have like the top 29 out of 30 spots in all of cable, not cable news, all of cable, period. They're fine. But MSNBC, you can see out of here, again out of Semafor by Max Tani, MSNBC poaches CNN exec as network builds up digital presence. They are getting ready, Mike, to transition away from primarily being a cable news network, I believe, to trying to take on the new media. So they're going to be there taking on the PBD podcast, taking on Megyn Kelly, Timcast, the Young Turks, All In, etc. They're going to have to compete there. And the problem for them is, Jen Psaki was plucked up by the Biden administration to do what she does, but she can't maintain an audience organically. She has to be selected. She has to stand at the gate in order to do what she does. If you just let people naturally decide, clearly they don't side with Jen Psaki. Mike, I'll give you the final thoughts on this one as we watch MSNBC literally in peril, collapsing to the point now that they are, just look at this, 55,000 the demo for Psaki, 52 for Hayes. It's terrible.
We're seeing this now. We don't even have access to the inside numbers that they have, which I'm sure are far worse. No wonder they want to spin this thing off and get us far away from it. It's almost like, as far as broadcasting goes, it's almost like it's a thermonuclear warhead or radiation contamination that's in the ground of a nuclear. I mean, it's nuclear reactor TV is what we're looking at. I mean, literally.
Well, here's the thing too, Mike. Think about this. So on YouTube, when the video has the commercial that plays, right? That commercial tends to be tailored for the viewer. Like they know the kind of stuff that you like, and they play commercials they're aimed for that. MSNBC can't do that. So the ad revenue, one must presume, would be much lower per ad for just, being on cable TV. So I don't see how this is even close to sustainable financially. I think somebody's got to be essentially subsidizing getting political messages out very inefficiently by having these channels still going. It's all I can see, because from a financial standpoint, there are better ways of destroying money, but not much. Not many better ways to destroy money than advertising on MSNBC or CNN at this point.
Agreed.
Mike, I agree with you too.
Wow, this is oh yeah. I mean, if this isn't case in point that traditional media is dying, it's not even on life support. I mean, you just can't even justify. I mean, it's basically nobody's watching. I mean, how many people are there in the U.S. mathematically? What, 320 million?
Yeah, even more than that, I believe. But yeah.
I mean, you take their viewership numbers and punch in your calculator and divide by what, 330 million or so people in the U.S. Wow,
I'll go with it. Yeah. Hey, Mike, what if I told you I think Jen Psaki is the Kathleen Kennedy of cable news now?
Unbelievable.
No harsher word has ever been said about poor Jen Psaki. You know what? I can't even go there. I apologize. That was too harsh of me. We don't use profanities like that on the channel. Mike, I want to send a big shout out. You appear on the Overlord DVD, also known as Doomcock channel, Wednesday nights. Is that right, Mike?
Yep. Be there Wednesday night. Currently, we're doing the Mexican Iron Man Doctor Who review, as well as other fun things on Wednesday nights, where I'm a long time Whovian, and so I'm painstakingly and painfully watching the latest episodes of this trash show that is being offered to us these days.
So, folks, Valiant Renegade goes live on Wednesdays at, I believe, about 6 p.m. Eastern. Doomcock goes, what, 8 p.m. Eastern, Mike? Is that correct?
8 p.m. Eastern, sir.
And then after Doomcock, the Pro Show does a live show on Wednesday night. So, folks, just get on there and navigate through the new media. And big shout out to Doomcock, to the Overlord DVD channel. They got the Avengers, the Fantastic Four reshoot ending stuff exactly right, it appears. Got the scoop on us. And whenever somebody gets the scoop ahead, we always say kudos to them. So kudos to Doomcock and everybody over there. I'm convinced he's getting the info from Harvey, who is clearly cheating by being a little Cthulhu monster. Mike, it's time. The folks out there need to go from being a passive to an active viewer, listener. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts, folks. And damas y caballeros, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and divertido, do that too.
Oh, yeah. Can't believe I made it. This thing is great. And now I have my own emoji on WDW Pro's channel.
Right? Hey, everyone's been wanting me for, like, ever. But just remember, you're like a pity vote.
Thanks.
By the way, do you want me to turn on the bubbles?
They are on. Aren't they?